Do you feel like you used to be passionate about life? You used to be passionate about making goals or just even dreaming, and you just feel like maybe lately you're just not as passionate. You don't wake up with as much pep in your step as you used to. Maybe in the past you've set goals or you've had dreams and you kind of just feel like you've let yourself down too many times to keep reaching big anymore. It just feels like maybe if I play it small, I won't disappoint myself quite as often. Maybe you just don't really know if big things can happen for you anymore. Since you've become a mom, you've kind of just lost yourself a little bit. I can certainly relate to this. About 6 years ago, I kind of just reached a super low point where I just was like not even wanting to really get out of bed in the morning. And I still feel like that sometimes because I'm pretty tired. But this was different. This was like, the things that used to make me excited, they just weren't fun anymore. I had kind of lost all of my passion. I felt super blah. My husband was like, "What is going on with you?" And I'm like, "I don't even know." I just I just had really, really lost myself. And I think there's a good way to lose yourself, but this was not the good way to lose yourself. And I was just at a really big low. And so I want to share today how to start dreaming again as a mom, how to believe that you can actually start to make progress on some of your dreams, some of your goals as a mom, to kind of just share how I got out of that really dark place in my life and really how Jesus brought me out of that dark place in my life. And even if you're not coming from a place of faith, I really feel like there are some things I'm going to share today that can be very, very helpful for you. But I definitely don't want to take any credit away from what I feel like was the Lord lifting me out of that really dark place. So, hey, my name is Lana. This is Girl Teach Me. This whole channel is just to help you on the journey of motherhood. It's not easy. And while I'm not sitting here saying I know everything. I want to share some of the things that have helped me along the way because I have 5 kids, 10 and down. And so there's just some things that I've learned along the way, and I want to just freely pass them to you, the things I've learned from mentors, to just save you some pain, a little bit of struggle. So if that feels like that resonates with you, I'd love to have you here. I hope you'll hit subscribe. So first of all, before I get going, I want to say something about our journey as a mom. And I think it's this, that our kids need to see us be excited about life. They need to see some passion in our eyes. They need to see us pursuing goals and dreams, not leaving them behind by any means, but they need to see us continuing to learn and make progress as a human, and as a woman. And that is actually invigorating for our kids if we are continuing to learn and grow and change and repent, of the things we've done wrong and commit to do better and ask for help from others. And I think it really helps a kid to understand how to navigate hard things. And so throughout this video, I want to couch everything with, we want to show it better as moms. We're not here to say, I'm just only going to take care of me, forget about the kids. I'm going to dream at the expense of my kids. I think that if we're dreaming in the right way, and that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit, I think it will only benefit our motherhood. So that's my hope. That's what I'm couching this whole video in, is that maybe if you can get a little bit of pep in your step, a little passion in your life, a little excitement, it will only yield good things in your motherhood and be a great example for your children. Okay. So let's get going. I'm so excited to talk about some of these things. They just fire me up. The first one is to beware of the most toxic mentality. I had no idea. I was walking around with this mentality all the time as a mom. I think this is the mentality that really took me to my absolute low as a mom. And it's a mentality I slip back into all the time. You don't really realize it until you realize it, and then it's like, boom, your eyes can just be opened. And it's this. It's the victim mentality. And let me unpack a little bit of what I'm talking about with this victim mentality, just to be clear on exactly what I mean. There are real victims in the world. They definitely need to be saved. We should be passionate about the real victims in the world. I'm thinking about trafficking, children, child abuse, things like that. Absolute victims, they need to be saved and rescued from those situations. But after a child or somebody is rescued from that kind of situation, they quickly help them get from the victim slot to the survivor slot, because it's so important that we don't stay in that victim mindset. Now, as moms, we're not more than likely in that situation. More than likely, we feel like a victim because our kids are hard to handle, our house is a mess, we feel like we're doing a lot of things on our own, we can't wait for our husband to come home and save us, and we just feel a little bit sorry for ourselves. And just can happen. I was feeling sorry for myself today. I'm like, we used to have a chore chart. What happened? I'm the only one doing everything. That's like what I had in my head and what came out of my mouth, sadly. So I think just beware of that victim mindset, because that's going to keep us from making progress on our dreams and our goals. As a mom, it's going to hold us back in a lot of ways in life if we're in that victim mindset. I'm going to talk about some way better mindsets, but just beware of that one. Okay, so the second one, and hang with me, I've got 5 points, and I'm weaving right here. I'm kind of weaving through, and you might be like, Lana, how does this relate? It does. Hang with me. And the second one is consider what you do with your pain. And what do I mean by that? Our pain? Well, what I mean is motherhood's painful. It's hard. I really see why moms start like wine addictions at night. I mean, you make it through a day, you feel like you deserve something. You feel like you deserve wine, ice cream, a TV show, whatever. It's a binging scroll session on your phone, because the thing is, motherhood's painful. It's painful to do what we don't want to do sometimes. It's painful to discipline. It's painful to get thrown up on and change poopy diapers and wash loads of dishes. And it's painful sometimes to not be thought of well in the world. Like, people are like, oh, well, I mean, I had a comment the other day that was like, motherhood, the most important thing. They said, no retirement, no pay, no appreciation. And I'm like, ooh. But I could sense in the comment there was a lot of pain. And that's what I want to get at is, there's pain, but we have to do the right thing with our pain. And there was a framework that was introduced to me in a book called Hero on a Mission. I took a course with Jennifer Pepito. She's like one of my favorites, y'all. I love Jennifer Pepito. She wrote the Peaceful Press curriculum, the homeschool curriculum I use, and then also 2 really wonderful books. I'll link those down below. Love Jennifer Pepito. But through one of the little courses I took that she did, she recommended this book called Hero on a Mission. You didn't need to know all that. But just to say, in that book, he talks about the fact that in every story there's a victim, there's a villain, there's a hero, and there's a guide. This framework blew my mind, guys. Blew my mind, and seriously unlocked some things for me when it came to like dreaming about something bigger in my life. I don't love all of Donald Millard's theology personally, like what he believes about God, but the book is really great. And so anyways, the victim, we already talked about the victim. They need to be saved. And then there's the villain. The villain does the wrong thing with their pain. So the victim kind of sinks down in their pain. They're in a lot of pain. They can't do a lot about it. But the villain is like, I will get back at you. And like, whew, that is like motherhood anger, right? It's like revenge, or like, how dare you talk to me like that? It's just this, I feel pain and I'm not doing the right thing with it. And so if we're going to do anything with our lives big, we definitely can't be tapping into villain energy. He makes the case that the villain is like always eliminated, and I don't want to be eliminated. So I channel into villain energy all the time. I channel into victim energy all the time. But the energy that I really want to put forth is what he calls like hero energy. This is where it can all change for you, I'm telling you, is that hero energy of, okay, I've got a big mountain to climb. I don't feel like a hero, but I am on a mission for the sake of others. Oh, that just unlocked everything. Like, for the sake of others, doing big, hard things for the sake of others. And he makes the case that hardly ever does a hero feel like a hero in the middle of a story. Like, if you go watch any heroic story, they don't feel like a hero, but we remember them like triumphant at the end. And we're just in the middle of our motherhood story. So maybe we have littles, and we don't feel triumphant at the end of the day. In fact, maybe we feel a lot of shame for like how the day went. And I get emotional about it because it's just so real. Like, I go to bed sometimes and I'm like, I really messed up today, and I want to go kiss my kids, and I just want that pain to go away, because shame is like the most powerful emotion, and that is the language of the enemy. Is he wants us to feel ashamed as motherhood, and as mothers, and he wants to keep us down, and he wants us to live in fear of like repeating whatever mistakes we made. And so I am certainly obviously in pain in my motherhood because I feel like a failure all the time. But what choice do I have, right? Like, I can be a villain about it, I can be a victim and be sorry for myself, or I can take on the challenge of being a better mother. I can equip myself, as much as I can, read books, talk to mentors, pray, ask the Lord for help, dig into scripture. And, one scripture that's been a comfort to me is consider it all joy when you face trials of many kinds, because the suffering creates a perseverance in us. And, all those things. The Lord doesn't leave us or forsake us. Just so many verses, like even Psalm 23, I've just been like meditating on it. Like, the Lord is my shepherd, I have no lack. And so, okay, I'm getting off on a tangent, but my point is doing the right thing with our pain, hero energy. And the last one is the guide. And that's really the best slot to be in. And that's the most fun slot to be in, because you're helping other people win in their lives. And we get to be the guide for our kids. We get to come alongside them and help them win. But we can also do that for other women, younger women, teenage gals, college gals, young moms. We can come alongside them and help them win in their lives. And that's so rewarding. So when you're considering your goals and your big dreams, maybe consider how you can help other people, because that's really what's going to light us up. I mean, people are the mission anyways. And then we're going to get the benefits of just feeling good as we help other people. The third one is something I totally already said, but the best dreams help others. Like I said, people are the mission, and you're really going to be sustained when your purpose is bigger than yourself, when you step out of yourself and you start thinking about the higher good of others. And so whatever you're dreaming about, like as a mom, maybe it's your kids, maybe it's your legacy, maybe it's your marriage, like maybe it's helping other women, maybe you have some business desires or dreams, maybe you want to get in shape again, maybe you want to feel healthy and good and have good energy. Well, maybe just tie that to the sake of your kids. Like maybe you want to feel good so you can love your kids better, you can love your family better, so you can show up better. When it's just about us, it's sometimes easy to let ourselves down, but when it's tied to the greater good of those we love and we really care about, it helps us push through and grow the grit in our lives. Okay, the fourth one is something that honestly I have really been awakened to in the last year, and I've been married, I guess, going on 12 years, and I didn't really realize that passivity is a choice. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm an oldest child and my husband's an oldest child, and sometimes when we just kind of like don't agree, sometimes I would just be passive. I would be afraid of being the one to like make the decision, because then I had to like live with the weight of that decision. But passivity is a choice. By not making goals or not having dreams, you are in essence making the goal or having the dream to not really dream. It's still a choice. And so I know sometimes it feels easier to not dream, not make a decision, not have a goal, because it's easier than to live with like the fallout if it doesn't happen. But by not trying, we're still making a decision. And so my encouragement to you is, if you have some areas in your life where you've just been passive, you've been passive about your health, you've been passive in your marriage, you've been passive about discipline, to just realize that we have a lot of control. Like, God gives us free will. It's not a bad thing to make a decision. In fact, it's okay to make the wrong decision. At least just try to make the right decision. And then you're going to learn as you go. Like, failure is 100% part of the process. And I think sometimes like we're doing the wrong thing with that pain of failure from the past. But like, honestly, we just have to fail forward. And I love the idea of like a locus of control, like having an internal locus of control. Like, I'm going to control what I can control. But if we have like this external locus of control where we feel like outside circumstances are kind of controlling us, it really causes us to like step back into victim mentality. And so just owning everything you can, not being afraid to rock the boat, even in marriage. Like, if you're not giving a full body yes, then you're probably just being passive. And then when we're passive, it leads to passive aggressiveness. So we can be passively aggressive because we're like, well, you made the wrong decision, but we didn't really help make the decision. Like, God made us a helper. It's a great job. It's nothing to look down upon. I mean, our husbands need our help, but that means they need us to bring our opinions and our thoughts to the table, obviously in a kind, gentle way, like not being a bossy pants, which is my tendency, or domineering. That's not helpful either. But to just, abdicate all the decisions for the sake of them being the leader, I feel like that's just us not being good helpmates. And I'm also on a tangent with that, but just all to say, make some decisions. It's okay. We don't need to be passive. Like, just go for it. And the last one is just to consider all the paths that you're on. Like, think about your life, like your health, your motherhood, your marriage, your finances. Think about all the different paths you're on, like the parts of you and then the paths that you're on. And one thing to think about, and I heard this in a sermon a couple weeks ago, was he was like, if you wanted to get to a destination, you would type in the right address. You wouldn't get on the interstate going the opposite way and expect to end up in a certain city. So if we want to get somewhere in our motherhood, if we want to get somewhere in our marriage, if we want to get somewhere with our health, if we want to get somewhere with our finances, then we need to be on the right path to get there. And I think what trips me up sometimes is I live like I'm the exception to the rule. Like maybe I know that eating canola oil is bad for my health. If I ate canola oil every single day and I thought, well, I know canola oil is bad for me, but it's okay, I'm just going to eat it anyways because it'll just be fine, then I'm going to end up at a different destination, like with my health. And I know that might be a random example, but you know, if I really want to have a good savings account, but I don't save every day, what do I expect, you know? And so when you're wanting to get somewhere in your life, consider the paths you're on, and all it takes is just a little change, like change the path to get to the destination that you want to get to. And if you're on a really destructive, bad path, like turn around, go a different way, but don't be surprised. You know, we shouldn't be surprised if we end up at the wrong destination when we're on the wrong path. I hope that'll just give you something to consider this week, like what paths am I on and how can I just make a pivot? I hope you dream again as a mom. I feel like the world needs the best of you. It needs your dreams. It needs your goals. It needs you to show up. And I want to close by just saying that we have more control than we think. We can control so much in our own lives. We can control our attitude, the way we see things, our mindset. And one quote I love from Jim Rohn is, "The same wind that blows upon us all." It's the cutting of the sail or the setting of the sail, he said, that makes the difference. And so sometimes it can feel like everything is stacked against us. And in some seasons, it certainly feels that way. It feels like fire. In some seasons, it feels like winter, like a perpetual winter sometimes. And things just seem like they keep happening to us. And we're like, why us? But I think it is true that while life is not fair for us all, we all have our own struggles. And it's really the setting of the sail that makes the difference, that locus of control. Like, okay, even though everything seems to be going wrong today, like I'm going to try to do the right thing with my pain. And I really feel like when we just kind of like wake up to the mindset that we have, what we think can really change what we do. And that's really exciting if you think about it like that, because it kind of brings that control back to us. And I think it just tripped me up for a long time because I'm like, yes, the Lord is in control. But I had to come back and realize that He has given us the gift of free will. And it's a grand mystery how the two go together. But I do know this life is a precious one. And so I hope that you can just have the courage to dream again. I hope this video has just fired you up and encouraged you, that you just can sit down and think about what you really want to make progress on this year. I don't even know that accomplish is the word. I think progress is the most invigorating thing. If we can wake up, have a big goal, and make progress, it just gives so much energy. It's such an energy giver in life. And we need that even in our motherhood. All to say, it feels really, really good when we make progress on our goals. I don't think accomplish is the right word. I don't think it's about accomplishing our goals. I think it's about making progress. And so I'm really excited about the progress that you're going to start making as you consider the paths that you're on. Switch out of victim mentality into hero mentality and even guide mentality. Think about how your dreams and your plans could benefit others. I think it's really going to light you up, and I'm so excited for you. Again, this is Girl Teach Me. This whole channel is for you. I hope you hit subscribe. Tell me in the comments down below what stood out to you. What do you feel like is going to be that one thing that kind of gets you going that I shared? It's not enough just to collect knowledge. You know, it's like what we do with it. So I'd love to hear what you feel like you want to do with some of the stuff I just shared. There's plenty of content out there. Like, my hope is that these videos help your life change and they help move you forward. So tell me what stood out to you. I would love to hear it, and I'll see you again in the next video.